All right, so here's another episode of Brandon's Vehicles and Bikes Are Broken Down. So when I was driving to work, the battery light came on the Ranger, and I immediately thought, why? Why is this thing breaking down? I recently put an engine in it because it threw a rod, and I had to also get the battery replaced because it started to get a little weak. So I got it replaced on the warranty. Because it was before the warranty was up on the battery. So I know I got a good battery, but the battery light came on the dash while I was driving. Luckily I was able to get to work and get home. And so what we're gonna do now, we're going to start the truck, and I'm basically gonna rule out whether or not I think it is the alternator or not, but I think it is charging related because you know, the truck is still running. It didn't fully die, but if a battery indicator comes on, look, that pretty much means it's your charging system. So we're gonna start this thing up. So we're in neutral. You can see right there, got that battery symbol. You can also look on this side, you can see that the battery symbol is near the bottom. What's supposed to happen, even though you're technically not supposed to do this, when the truck is running or when a vehicle is running, you're not supposed to disconnect the battery while it's running. But you use the starter, starts the engine, and the battery is used to jump start the starter to start the engine. But once the engine is started, the alternator is basically going to take over and continue to run the vehicle, and also is going to charge the battery. So technically, if I disconnect this battery, it should still run, right, if the alternator is good. What happened there? It died. So what that lets me know is if the battery was strong enough to start the vehicle, it's probably not my battery. So that means that either one or two things is going on. Either the alternator is charging and the voltage regulator is bad, or I may have a bad positive lead that goes from the alternator over here to charge the battery right here on this positive terminal. So what I'm gonna rule out is just more than likely it's probably the alternator. Let me show you this. So what we got here is the alternator. This is a replacement, and essentially we got three mounting points. You got two on the bottom, one on the top. And luckily this one comes with a, I guess, a refurbished voltage regulator. And what this does is you use the serpentine belt. See, I already don't even like that. This is supposed to be certified refurbished. Listen to that. I hope that does not make like a crazy amount of noise while I'm driving. Maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, this is a refurbished one. And as the alternator is generating electrical energy from the mechanical energy being generated from the engine, basically steps down the power via the voltage regulator, so the battery doesn't get too much juice. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull the old alternator out, and I'm gonna put this one in there, and hopefully this fixes my problem. But while I'm already in there, I have a replacement serpentine belt because I don't remember if I actually changed out the old one or the one that came with the truck. I'm pretty sure I did. But let me show you this. It does not look like it is going to be a super difficult job. We got the alternator right here, so it's not like super deep down in there. This hose looks flexible. This is a hard line, I believe, for the power steering, maybe. No, I think that's AC line. There's the one on top that I was talking about, and then there's two on the bottom. And here's this, you can see this belt. Here's the old belt. I'm not sure if this belt's actually, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's the original belt when I got the truck. I got the truck used, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing out. I think I just had to get the air box off, which is not much. Got the mass airflow sensor disconnected from the throttle body. Hopefully, this is a lot easier of a job than it was on the Cruise when I did the head job. First thing was completely disconnecting the battery. We don't want to mess with the alternator while the battery's still connected. And next is going to be getting this airbox off, disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Really, I hope to just pivot this out of the way, but I got a feeling I'm going to have to take the whole thing off. I might be able to pivot it like that. And that's giving me some room. Like I said, I got one. This is a, it's like a radiator hose. Got one up here, and we got some electrical lines down here. So again, with the new, or I guess refurb, there's the positive lead, and we got the voltage regulator connector. So it sits in there like what we're looking at while it's in the vehicle is like this. So I got to try to figure out how I'm going to get back there to get that off. I already broke these loose, You know, broke the top, broke the bottom too. I just realized why I don't like changing the serpentine belt on this thing, and that's probably why I didn't change it. I mean, I'm sure it's probably fine, but that's probably why I didn't change it. But to get the belt off, you have to disconnect the fan. This bracket right here. So each of these are basically keeping that belt on there, and there's no way to get the new one on because you have to take these off. And I can't remember. I think they were a pain in the ass. But anyway, what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a 3/8. It's gonna fit right in that slot right there. I'm gonna turn it to the left, and that's gonna take the tension off the belt. And I think this is probably why I'm gonna go back with the belt that's on here, just because I don't feel like doing it. There we go. And then better if I had a breaker bar. There we go. All right, I'm gonna pop that in there like that, and it should just pop out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just like that. Easy peasy. I'm good at putting my fingers in places I can't see, but this ain't working right now. But that's okay. I gotta figure out how am I gonna maneuver. Yeah, if we move this up like this, this should give us the space we need to kind of wiggle this thing up out of here. Cause this right here, oh dear God, that ain't gonna work. I figured it out. These little things, Harbor Freight, they have saved my butt so many times. I want to say a set of these. It's like $3, but they get in places when you can't see. So this little hook, there's a hook on this little one, this little connector. Gotta lift up on that tab just a little bit. So I took this hook, it's basically just pushed up on it and slid back. So they got that out of there. Again, these little things, man, they've saved me a bunch of times. So now I'm gonna see how am I gonna get this positive lead off. Just lift. Oh shoot, okay. Bro, what if this was just loose? No, it wasn't like loose where it's like it's gonna fall off, but it was like, well, I guess there's not a lot of torque on this thing, because that came off, that ain't take much effort. I think there is a washer on it, but there's a nut. I don't believe this is the original alternator on this 98 Ford Ranger. That would be freaking insane. So with that, we got the electrical connection disconnected, and also the positive lead to the battery. We got the voltage regulator disconnected right here. So now all we got to do is loosen these up. I would probably do the bottom two first and then do the top, and then it's gonna drop.
Are you saying you're gonna do that today?
Hell no.
I know.
I ain't trying to cut no grass. Luckily I can see that, boy, and this is not my 10 millimeter, my 13. But you don't have a lot of space. But I'll say this, I'm thankful that when this engine was designed, well, I don't know too much about design. I know I had to change an alternator out on a Honda Accord, and those engines, man, they're so compact. Everything's compact, and we changed it in a night because obviously we had to get to work the next day. And this is pretty much my main means of transportation if I'm not riding my bike and it's freaking cold. But here we go. Here we go. Oh, thank God that's not in the way. Okay. Come on. Ooh-wee. Could be worse, I promise you that. As long as I don't pinch a hose or... Come on, bud. Booyah. And there we are. There's my faulty possible alternator. Made in Mexico. That's gonna be fun. In 2025. Of course, the thing to do now is to make sure that I got the same thing before I try to put this thing in. Because once you get these parts dirty, it's less likely to take them back. Positively, pulley, mounting points are in the same. This looks like the exact same part. I wish, oh, dude, this is a remanufactured alternator. So this is I guess the third alternator that this thing may have been on. While I'm in here, we can look at the belt. It doesn't look bad. It's starting to get some cracking, but see that right there, those little spots. I think it'll be fine for now, so we're just gonna roll with it. Like I said, I don't feel like dealing with that. I mean, maybe we'll see once I get the alternator in, but it looks, yeah, see, it's starting to crack there too. Put it in the way that it came out. Ow, bro, ow, ow, ow. I don't wear gloves to keep my hands pretty, man. It's just, I hate scratching my fucking hands up. It hurts. All right, wait, I think it might make sense to pull this out of the way. That should drop in there. There we go. And we're gonna take one of these. You know what I didn't do? What? I didn't look to see if these were the same length, these bolts, but luckily they are.
Okay. That's good.
Oh, dude, I put this thing here upside down. Bruh, why didn't you tell me that I was doing this upside down? Huh?
How am I supposed to know?
You're supposed to be looking. I put this thing in here upside down. Literally.
You said, why didn't y'all? I thought you was talking to
I'm talking to you. You are included. You're supposed to go like.
I think they would know better than me.
Bah. Maybe. Who knows? All right. So luckily, I'm hoping I'm not putting too much stress on that radiator hose. But there we go. All right. So it's in there. I gotta. Oh lordy. Right hand was giving out. So I just need to get one of these started. You know what's crazy is that I got the manual for this thing and it does not tell me what the torque values are. So I'm going to guten tight as good as I can get it without going over, because luckily, of course, the torque value is nothing but a measurement. One more okay, see, that felt like it was finna go. It felt like Riley was finna turn into Lucy. All right, here we go at the top. Honestly, the thing I don't want to happen is it backs off while you drive, and then the pulley's going like this, it's doing a little shimmy. The positive lead. Now this one, I am definitely not gonna go too tight on that. That's how you break some stuff, man. Oh, I realized the reason I can't do the belt until I put the belt back on, because I need the tension to be on that pulley to be able to then take all 5 of those bolts out. And that's in. Okay, so that's all the way down. There we go, come on. We didn't have to touch the mass output sensor at all. I thought when I first started, I was gonna have to disconnect this entire piece, but obviously I just had to maneuver it out of the way. Probably would be a good idea to disconnect the battery completely when I do that, because if not, it'll start up kind of weird. We're back in the truck. You can see there is no battery symbol, and we got the needle for the battery in the middle. What we did before, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna disconnect the negative. If the truck still runs, that means the alternator's doing its job. That means the alternator's working. So what I'm gonna do now, we're gonna button this up, tighten it down, and I'm gonna check that positive lead, and should be good to go. The last thing is, I assumed it was the alternator, because typically when you do what we did when we took the battery off and it just cut off, that's typically the alternator. But there's more testing that could have been done, right? Could have tested the voltage regulator to see if it was cooperating, but it was just easier for me to just, because you can take the voltage regulator off right here with some security bits. I think those are security or Torx, but I have the tools to get it off, and it could have just been this. But it was easier just to replace the whole thing. This thing isn't going in a scrapyard. It's gonna go back and get remanufactured, I assume, but then it was already remanufactured, who knows, but it's gonna get recycled, and that's what's most important to me. And I know I have a perfectly functioning alternator, and yeah, we'll get to learning how to test this stuff later, but I need my truck running. All right, so my wife is looking at me like, Brandon, go ahead and do it. So what I'm doing now, so I gotta take all 5 of these out. But like I said, I had to put the belt back on because you cannot turn these, because if not, what happens is if the belt's not on here, that pulley is just gonna turn. Getting the last one of these out, I actually dropped one. Luckily it went straight to the bottom, didn't get caught with like some weird splash tray. So knock that off. If I remember, this should just, like that, So we pull the belt out. Here is our belt. So we're gonna take the new belt. Should be the same length or close to it, obviously, because the older one has stretched a little bit. The new belt should be tighter, right? So yeah, these are about the same. We have the position that everything is supposed to go. So it goes over the AC all the way down to the crankshaft, goes over, loops across the alternator, water pump, goes under the idler pulley, and back over the AC. These 4 Rangers did come without an AC compressor, but mine does have the AC compressor there. So if I didn't have the AC compressor, it would loop across the power steering pump. Got the new belt on. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually holding the pulley while I tighten these up. I don't want to go too tight on because these bolts ain't made out of much. I'm holding it with my hand, getting one good snug. Now I'm getting my glove. I smashed up my hand and then it's cold, and then you know what happens when you smash your hand when it's cold? Everything just hurts more. And your boy ain't getting no younger. So that's gonna hurt like hell. So I got it everywhere it pretty much need to be. Now I need to come in here over there. That's tight, baby. And so what I'm gonna do one last time. Let's check on this, give it one last little snug. Like that. Alternator's connected, everything's connected, the belt's in line. We're gonna start this thing up. Actually, I almost did it again. Look at you, you just hit, look at you. You made up for yourself, thank you, Val.
Sure.
You watching too, thank you. Yeah, so next up I gotta work on that. That just showed up while we were working on this, but yeah, truck's situated for now, and I think at some point I'm gonna have to deal with that starter, but yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, as we always are. Catch you in the next one. Peace.